I feel like I keep saying wow, wow after each one. I like that. There's a little piece in there that's, I guess, the guitar, the electric guitar kind of thing that reminds me of something from the past of Classix Nouveaux, but I can't put my finger on it. It's kind of got that little hook there, but I really like it because it helps connect me into in this world.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot you have to say about writing that one.
Well, sometimes, you just have things in your head and you don't know where they come from. So it might be other people's music, or there might be our own music. And also, I think that probably people just have an inclination towards certain sets of notes. Like if it was an Elton John song, you'd recognize,
or a style of playing it that carries you. Yeah.
Yeah, because also you'd said to me once in the past on one of our deep dives or something that in Classix Nouveaux songs there's often a lot of stops and starts and different things like that. And so we don't particularly know we're doing that, we just feel that's the way it should be.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy you felt the way you felt about this one. I really like it. Yeah, and there's a, how do I put it? A full grasp of what you're doing that's clear on this album. Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, I think also the collaboration is very important between the different musicians.
Yeah.
Because that was a lot of the fun part of doing this, because as you know, for many years I've been making my own albums, and so I didn't really have any particular interplay with anybody else. And now there's been so much input. Like BP was giving me a hard time almost every day. He'd be listening to something and he'd say, you know what? And that's where the spoken word comes from. Because one day, well, actually, even before that, the sound that's underneath them is a bunch of like Tibetan monks or something chanting. And so first of all, BP wanted that, and it took a while to put it all together. And then sometime later, he says, yeah, spoken word, like Vincent Price did on Thriller. If we could have something like that. So I go searching the internet for free samples, and next thing I found exactly what I was looking for, and just the voice that I had in mind.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I was like, that can't be someone from your church choir.
That's good.
I like that a lot.
Also, of course, you said with Final Symphony, we did it without having a symphony, but now we did.
Right. You got your symphony in there.
That was one of my favorite bits, actually, when we first started putting the song together. I kept with that, wow, I love that orchestra, because we hinted at it back in the day on Forever and a Day, of course, was the first time we had an orchestra. But that was only a string orchestra, so we've gone a bit further this time, and there's the brass and everything else.
Yeah, I talked to you a little bit, or mentioned while listening to it a little bit about the technology and the toys you got to play with. So doing this album, were you again feeling like a kid in a candy store, or were you really familiar with all that was out there this time?
Yeah, I think I'm pretty much familiar because I've been recording all this time and also producing other people. And so I pretty much know my craft. Having said that, when you're doing a totally different kind of music, it has other demands. Like I would start, well, something I didn't know that was out there actually. On YouTube, there's tons and tons of videos from people going on about production and different gadgets and different ways to produce into the sound. So I was kind of like going back to school. I was thinking, well, in case I'm missing anything, let's have a listen to this and just make sure I'm doing all these things right, because I thought I was years ago, but now these kids much younger than me have grown up on the technology, and so maybe they know something that I don't.